Kid Stars, fun for me. Kid Stars, where I love to be. Kid Stars, let's all stay. Kid Stars, let's all play. Hooray!
Let's see who will be presenting Kid Stars today! It's Oscar! I'll miss you, mate. And you as well. Oh! Yeah! I love you too! Hello! And welcome to Kid Stars! It's Sunday the 2nd of April, and it's day 7 of Mr. Bean Week! Woohoo! But I've got some bad news as well. Today is the final day of Mr. Bean Week. And it's also my final day as a Kid Stars presenter. I know. But for now, let's put the sadness out of the way, because this morning we're going to watch the whole of Series 3 of the animated Mr. Bean. So, hurrah! Let's not waste any more time and get started with our first episode for today, which is called Game Over. And in it, Mr. Bean becomes obsessed with gaming after being introduced by Mrs. Wicket's nephew. He decides he must have his own console. Well, good luck with that, Bean. Oh, and talking of gaming, the production crew are over there creating a real-life Donkey Kong. Yes, but what I mean by that is that they're going to hire someone to dress up as Donkey Kong and use real barrels. Yeah. How are you getting on, guys? Oh. Hey, how is that supposed to answer my question? Ow! Will you stop throwing barrels at me? Ow! You've done the complete opposite of what I told you to do. Ow! Oh. Was that the last one? Good. Anyway, let's watch Series 3, Episode 1 of the animated Mr. Bean. Ow! Right. Now it's time for our second Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Special Delivery. And in it, Mrs. Wicket demands that Mr. Bean stays in to take delivery of a new lounge chair. He is forced to dress up as Mrs. Wicket to make sure it is delivered. Wow. Oh, and talking of special deliveries, I've got one here. Yes, it's a special delivery because it was delivered in this golden shiny box. Mind you, I don't know what's inside this box, but it's classified as a special delivery. It must be another leaving present from one of the other Kid Stars presenters. Let's have a look, shall we? Come on, open you. Aha. Now I understand why there was another label on that box saying handle with care. Bombs need to be handled with care, because if you're not careful with them, boom. You've just seen what's happened. Anyway, let's watch Series 3, Episode 2 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our third Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called A Dog's Life. And in it, Mr. Bean is charged with keeping an eye on Irma's dog, Mopsy. But Mopsy is a very willful pooch. Who is really in charge of who? Oh. Come in. Oh. It's a little dog. Hello there. What's your name? Olive. I like that name. It suits you. How can I help you, Olive? Ow! Oh! Hey! Let go of my leg! Bad dog! Let go! What was that for? That's your way on asking if you can have a treat. That's a bit odd for an innocent-looking pup like you. Okay. Here's your doggy treat. While you enjoy that, let's all enjoy Series 3, Episode 3 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 4th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Big Stink. Oh! And in it, Mr. Bean crashes his car into a pool of slurry and is desperate to get himself and his car, and poor Teddy, clean again. Slurry. A pool of slurry. Oh, yuck. That's disgusting. Hello? What's this? Look, everybody. A little box. I wonder what's inside. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh! What? Slurry! Oh! A box that squirts out slurry! Oh! Oh! Oh. I will find who's responsible for that prank. Because now, I smell. Oh. While I get cleaned up, you enjoy Series 3, Episode 4 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 5th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Birthday Bother. And in it, it's Elmer's birthday. Mr. Bean writes out 2 cards, one nice, one silly. He gets his envelopes mixed up and sends off the wrong card. The silly card. Oh, Bean. Oh, actually, talking of birthday cards, let me show you one of the cards that I got for my birthday this year. Isn't that lovely? And it's one of these cards that makes a sound when you open it. I'll show you. It's a bit of an odd sound for a birthday card to make, but it's still very funny. Right then, let's watch Series 3, Episode 5 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 6th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Bed Bean. And in it, Mr. Bean breaks his bed using it as a trampoline. He tries to fix it, but he can't. Next morning, he goes to buy a brand new bed. You really shouldn't use your bed as a trampoline. You should always use a proper trampoline if you want to do some trampolining. And let me tell you something. Last night, I tried to read the dictionary in bed, but I didn't finish it. I got up to pee. Let's watch Series 3, Episode 6 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 7th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Spa Day. That sounds nice. And in it, Mrs. Wicked demands Mr. Bean to drive her and Miss Wince to the spa and wait outside until they're done. But Mr. Bean gets bored and looks for fun. And talking of spas, I've connected a massage machine to my chair, so I can be massaged whilst presenting Kid Stars. Just turn it on. Oh, that feels lovely. Well, this is the stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Well, you could say that massage ended with a bang. Anyway, let's watch Series 3, Episode 7 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 8th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Charity Bean. And in it, Mr. Bean is cajoled by Irma and spurred by jealousy of the fundraising star Declan into raising money for a donkey sanctuary. I'm supporting Mr. Bean all the way, so good luck, Mr. Bean! Oh, and talking of charities, I have a pair of baggy trousers which I need to take to the charity shop at some point. Lots of girls and lots of boys, lots of smells and lots of noise, playing football in the park, kicking push bikes after dark, baggy trousers, dirty shirt, pulling hair and eating dirt. Teacher comes to break it up, back in the end with a plastic tub. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learned at school was how to bend or break the rules. Oh, what fun we had, but at the time it seemed so bad, trying different ways to make a difference to the days. Thank you very much. Now, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 8 of the animated Mr. Bean. You know what? I think I'll keep these on. They make me look cool. Now it's time for our... Now it's time for our 9th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Bean Encore. And in it... excuse me... The great Eduardo, violinist supreme, is in town, and Irma wants to go to the concert. But Mr. Bean won't pay for the tickets. More than that, he claims that he can play the violin better. I don't know about that. Oh, and talking of violins, I've recently started learning to play the violin, and I think my neighbour enjoys it. I assume he's throwing bricks from my windows to hear me better. Nah. No. Utter nonsense that was. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 9 of the animated Mr. Bean. It's now time for our 10th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Mobile Home. Hello, Oscar Barnett from Kidstar speaking. How can I help you? No, I said mobile home, not mobile phone. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. In the animated Mr. Bean episode, Mobile Home, Miss Wince takes Mrs. Wicket off on holiday in her brand new swanky caravan. Ooh. Let's have a look at that swanky caravan, shall we? Now it's time for our 11th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Haunted House. Ooh! No, of course not. And in it, Mr. Bean is trying to impress some kids in the park with his football skills, but ends up kicking their ball into an abandoned, scary-looking house. Oh, and talking of haunted houses, I went to a boring haunted house the other night. Nothing really jumped out at me. Here's Series 3, Episode 11 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 12th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called the Bean. And in it, Mr. Bean accidentally spills all of Mrs. Wicket's new expensive perfume on the floor. Can he hide the crime and cover his tracks? Let's hope he can. Oh, and talking of which, no, I'm not wearing perfume, but I've got on new aftershave. And do you know what it smells of? Look, I know it's got the Superman logo on the front. I stuck it there. So, no, I don't smell of Superman. But this aftershave bottle came from Greg's. I know, of all places. So, I'm smelling of Greg's sausage rolls. What do you think of this sausage roll aftershave, guys? Oh, run away. I like the smell of Greg's sausage rolls, though. Oh, no. It's making me hungry now. I really should have put on regular aftershave this morning. Oh. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 12 of the animated Mr. Now it's time for our 13th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Running on Empty. And in it, Mr. Bean is on his way to the seaside when his car runs out of petrol. Undeterred, he manages to get a push, but for some reason, the do-gooders don't want to push him all the way to the beach. I wonder why. Oh, and, talking of which, there was... Oh, yes, I remember what I was going to say now. Did you know that Tom can't hold petrol, but Jerry can? Anyway, here is Series 3, Episode 13. We're now halfway through today's Mr. Bean Marathon. But before we have our next episode, it's time for my last ever joke of the day, which goes like this. Alan says to his doctor, I can only breathe through one nostril. I think it's because of either an allergy to the excellent herbs I bought or a plug of semi-dried mucus. And the doctor says, don't blame it on the good time. Blame it on the bogey. And the first ever Brianna's Joke of the Day segment will be here tomorrow morning. But for now, It's time for our 14th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Bean Bug. And in it, Mr. Bean becomes Mrs. Wicked's housemate when he suffers a flea infestation. Will they get on? I doubt it. But let's see what happens, shall we? Now it's time for our 15th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Coffee Bean. Nice. And in it, Mr. Bean is determined to make the best cup of Java ever. Oh, and to get rich brewing it. And talking of coffee, the production crew are getting the coffee machine ready for my leaving party tonight. Is the coffee machine up and running? Like, is it ready for tonight? Well, maybe it could do with a few adjustments. My tuxedo is getting messy a lot this morning. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 15 of the animated Mr. Bean. It's now time for our 16th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called The Big Freeze. And in it, it's cold, the boiler is broken, and Mr. Bean has to get warm fast. Oh, and talking of which, there was something. Oh yes, I remember what I was what I was going to say. You know, even if the universe ends with a big freeze, we'll be okay. Well, because we'd be frozen in blocks of ice, wouldn't we? So we'll be okay. But don't worry, I highly doubt that the universe will end with a big freeze. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 6. It's now time for our 17th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Scrapper Cleans Up. And in it, Mr. Bean enters Scrapper into a beauty contest so that he can win first prize, a trip with Irma to Paris. Oh, that sounds lovely, doesn't it? Oh, and talking of which, not so long ago, the firefighters wouldn't come to save one of my cats from a tree because it isn't an emergency. So, I set the tree on fire. Whoop! Oh, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 17 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 18th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Coach Trip. And in it, Mr. Bean disguises himself as a pensioner in order to avoid lunch with Irma and her mum. Trying to avoid lunch with your girlfriend? And her mum? Mr. Bean is such a charming man, isn't he?
Desolate, we're going to make a man of the end. When in this charming car, this charming man, white panther life's complexities when the leather runs smooth on the passenger seat. I would go as an but I haven't got a stitch to wear. This man said it's gruesome that someone so handsome should care.
Oh! Morrissey fan here. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 18 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 19th Mr. Bean episode for today. Nearly at 20. Which is called Save That Tree! And in it, Mr. Bean climbs into his favourite tree to stop it from being chopped down. Good luck, Mr. Bean! Well, I hope he does save his favourite tree from being cut down. Oh, and talking of trees, 4 days ago, I saw 2 birds stuck together in a tree. I think they're Velcros. Anyway, let's see if Mr. Bean can stop his favourite tree from being chopped down. Now it's time for our 20th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called For Sale. And in it, Mrs. Wicket is selling up and moving on. But what will happen to Mr. Bean? We'll find out in just a minute. Before that, though, I want to tell you this. 5 days ago, I saw an ad that said, radio for £1. Voilem is stuck on full blast. I said to myself, well, I can't turn that down. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 20 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 21st Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Jumping Bean. And in it, Mr. Bean takes on the bruisers at the local skateboard park, using only a mobility scooter. Well, this could be interesting. Well, actually, I've just remembered. Not all that long ago, I lost my skateboard when I fell off it and couldn't find it. Then it hit me. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 21 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 22nd Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Cat Chaos. And in it, Mrs. Wicket becomes inconsolable when Scrapper goes missing. Mr. Bean investigates. Good luck, Detective Bean! Oh, and talking of cats, let me tell you this. 6 nights ago, a cat walked into a pub and said, I'd like a tuna sandwich and beer. And the bartender asked, why the long pause? Anyway, let's see if Mr. Bean finds Scrapper. I hope he does, despite Scrapper being an evil cat. Now it's time for our 23rd Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Stick It. And in it, Mr. Bean has finished his model car collection. What next? What about football stickers? That's a good suggestion, if you like football. And talking of which, last week, a guy with a baby on board sticker backed out of a parking spot and directly hit my car. This guy has serious issues with pulling out. Never mind. Here's Series 3, Episode 23 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 24th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Bean at the Museum. Yes, I have been at the museum. Well, yeah, that's true. But I suppose you want me to tell you the description of this Mr. Bean episode we're about to see. Well, in this Mr. Bean episode we're about to see, Mr. Bean digs up Bruiser Sr.'s medallion and rushes off to the local museum, convinced he's found treasure. Oh, poor Mr. Bean. I mean, he's going to be in big trouble with Bruiser Sr., I can tell you. Well, talking of museums, as I've just said, I have been to a few museums, but sometimes I go to a bread museum. It gets stale after going for a while. Oh, they keep on coming, I know! Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 24 of the animated Mr. Bean. It's now time for our 25th Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called A Car for Irma. And in it, Mr. Bean pimps his car in order to prove to Declan, a rival in love, that Mr. Bean's car is better. And I quite agree with that. Oh, and I've just remembered. Recently I bought these virtual reality glasses. And that's given me the idea to see if I can drive a car without leaving this studio. This'll be fun. Right, let's put the glasses on. Whoa! Oh. Yeah, it feels a bit funny once you've put these glasses on. Ah, yeah. I'm in the virtual reality world now. And there's a car in front of me. I'm walking towards it. Open the door. Get in. Close the door. Seatbelt on. Engine on. And off we go. Oh dear. I've crashed. Oh. Well, I might not be able to drive a car in virtual reality, but I can definitely crash one, unfortunately. Anyway, let's all watch Series 3, Episode 25 of the animated Mr. Bean. Now it's time for our 26th and final Mr. Bean episode for today, which is called Trophy Bean. And in it, Mr. Bean is forced to babysit Mrs. Wicked's nephew on an outward bound day course. That does sound like quite good fun. Oh, and talking of which, one of my cats won top prize in a cute competition. Unfortunately, they messed up the award. Instead of making it in the shape of a kitty's face, they made it into a kitty's behind. It's a real catastrophe. Anyway, here is Series 3, Episode 26 of the animated Mr. Bean. Like all the other Mr. Bean marathons we've had this week, that one was absolutely hilarious. But I'm afraid that's all we've got time for in this morning's Kid Stars, and indeed the end of this Mr. Bean marathon. But I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Oh yes, and don't forget, this isn't all from today's Kid Stars. Oh, no. The bedtime hour will be here tonight at 6 o'clock. That's right. There will be a nice, relaxing hour of Kid Stars programs before you head off to bed. And don't forget, Johnny will be here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock for even more fun and games. So there's a whole lot to look forward to. Now, well, this is the end of Mr. Bean Week, and it's also the end of my time on KidStars. Well, now, so I'd like to say, after 3 years, 137 presenting days, my run on KidStars has come to an end. I mean, I sorry, I didn't think I'd be crying this much. Sorry. Well, I never thought where this experience would have taken me. It's been an incredible and fun 3 years of my life. KidStars gave me the chance to be a children's TV presenter, and it was, as I say, it's been a lot of fun, and I've made plenty of new friends along the way, and I'm lucky enough to present with some of them on this very channel. I discovered children's TV programs which I haven't watched before, well, mainly because I hadn't heard of them, and because and also they passed my generation of children's television. So, what can I say? Well, I know I can say thank you very much, KidStars, for giving me a joyful and fun 3 years of my life. I'd say KidStars has changed my life. I never thought one day I'd be a presenter on this channel. No. I just got to thank the person, I wish I could remember who told me about KidStars. Got to thank the people who told me about KidStars and suggested I become a presenter, and yeah, thank you for that. After that suggestion, stayed for another 3 years, but now I'm leaving the channel to focus on my future. And keep an eye out, KidStars. One day, you might see me on the actual telly. And I want to wish Bree, who will be the future KidStars comedian, the very best of luck. She'll be taking over with doing the jokes, the pranks, the dancing, and the songs. And talking of songs, I've got one more song to sing to you before I go. I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give to you. Old friend, why are you so shy? Ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I hoped you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded, help for me, it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Time flies, only yesterday was the time of our lives. We were born and raised in a summer haze, bound by the surprise of our glory days. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away, I couldn't fight it. I'd hope you'd see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Nothing compares, no worries or cares, regrets and mistakes, their memories made. Who would have known how bittersweet this would taste? Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. That's all for me on Kidstars. Goodbye!